Good morning, Louis and Iouna from South Africa, Cape Town. I hope you guys are well, and thank you so much for your time. Again, this will be our second meeting, and looking forward to many more. What time is
Yes,
it out in Wodonga?
6:15 in the PM.
evening.
Okay,
Hmm.
in
In
the
the
evening.
PM.
All right.
Yeah.
So it's
And
quarter
our,
past
our
nine in the
sun
morning here.
goes, yeah, our sun goes down at the moment at about 8.
Eight.
No, about just after 7, 7:30, around there. But in
Quite similar to
summertime,
Cape Town.
it's
Sorry, guys.
very similar to Cape
Yeah,
Town.
I
Yeah.
put on the autocorrect, and the autocorrect is right here next to me. Sorry about that.
I need to have my wife here as well. That's my autocorrect
Yeah.
too.
It's our privilege.
100%. 100%.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, guys, I want to thank you again for your time. I know that things have been incredibly busy, not only on your socials, and congratulations for growing such an incredible group. I know what it means for to you guys, but just an extension of what I've seen and what I've heard,
Yeah.
especially from the families that you've referred and we're now helping. They've got nothing but incredible testimonials and incredible words to share about the experience that they've had with the two of you. It's really been incredible.
Thank you.
No, thank
Appreciate it.
you. Not to sound cheesy here, but it has been incredible. And guys, the reason why I wanted to arrange for this quick meeting is to share with your followers on the experience from the recruitment side, and maybe a little about the immigration side of things,
Mhm.
but more so the recruitment side and the job market. But I think from one parent to another, one of the biggest topics that a lot of the candidates that I'm placing in Australia is what are the schools like in Australia? I mean, Lona, you're a teacher. It's coming from, the horse's mouth, I guess. How easy is it for a South African child to settle in a school in Australia?
I think way easier than the adults.
Yeah, most of the time it's much easier for the kids to settle in than the adults. It is a culture shock for everybody in the beginning. I know some of the Afrikaans students that we got in the past few weeks, they would come to me and say, Tanny, die kinders praat so lelik. Kids, yeah. Moral values is completely different here, and especially in public schools, it's tough. It's a very big culture shock.
Sure.
But most of the time, our South African kids are more well behaved, academically much stronger.
Much stronger.
And
when they come here from the normal school in South Africa, they get put in the what more
the advanced
the
academic
advanced
program.
academic
wow.
program, because they are seen as much smarter than the kids that their same age. Sorry,
Yeah.
my English is going away, so I'm not smarter. Yeah. But yeah,
Yeah.
so right when they are evaluated, when they get here, they get put up in the more advanced classes.
That's
Yeah, a lot of
incredible.
them do.
I didn't know that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and the other thing is South Africans has got resilience. All of us have this strong resilience in us because we have to fight for where we can get to, and we need to work harder to achieve something, which in Australia, they get everything. So these kids don't have a lot of resilience, and it's really something we have to work in schools towards, is working on resilience. Where your South African kids, they've got that resilience.
Yes.
So they come in, they're happy in schools, and they've got all these opportunities that they don't have in South Africa.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
they go through school, they go into an apprenticeship, or they are even part of. I work at a middle school, so we only have year 7 to 9 at our school, and then year 10 they go over to the secondary college.
Okay.
And some of our year 10s now that were year 9s last year, they're coming in for placements at our school as job sharing and
Okay.
shadowing already at that age.
And that's the age
So-
of what?
And that's at the age of 16.
16.
Okay.
So
They can work in Victoria at the age of 15 years and 9 months. So they get a job, or 14 years and 9 months. So they get a job, they're already going into the industry, where in South Africa, you really have to do well in school to get your matric, etc.
Yeah,
Where
it's-
here, the opportunities are just
Yeah.
so much wider.
It's not a year. It's not that important for you to finish year 12.
Mm-mm.
The South Africans are pretty strict. They want their kids to finish year 12.
Yes.
That's where they bring that with them. But the Aussie kids don't really worry about finishing school. I think a small percentage of them finish school.
Yeah.
The rest of them go into the workforce straight away, and they receive very good salaries from day one.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's very interesting. I think you know, coming from, you know, when you come from a relatively low income house, not low income housing. Let me try to find the right word. When you're not growing up in a wealthy household, you tend to want to find yourself in, you know, either as working as a waiter or as a waitress, or washing cars, or, you know, going to your neighbor and asking if you can cut his grass and whatnot. So in South Africa, you're kind of forced to doing that because, you know, if you want a new bicycle, or you want to, I don't know, go on tour or whatever the case might be, and your parents can't afford it, you're kind of forced to having to do that, you know, where it's a slight difference I pick up in Australia.
Yeah, don't get me wrong, especially where we live and the schools that I work at, we're in a very low social economic area.
Okay.
So these kids have to work. Some of them are the only breadwinners at home. So these kids work.
Okay.
Yeah, there's reasons
Yeah.
for that we're not going to go into,
Yeah.
but you'll see. You'll walk in Kmart. We'll walk in Kmart, and she'll tell me that girl is in my class, and she'll be like 15 years old, and she'll be working after hours at Kmart just to support a family.
Yeah.
Wow.
So it's not about socioeconomic. It's just that in South Africa you have to finish school. Here you don't have to finish school.
Yeah.
Because you will find a job somewhere. There's enough jobs going around if you're willing to work.
Yeah. No, good stuff. And it's good to know, because that was going to be my next point. You know, as a recruiter, I'm here in South Africa. I've had the pleasure of working with a lot of Australian businesses, and, you know, Australia being as big as it is in so many different areas. But being in Australia for the time that you guys have been there, what is your experience with businesses locally on that side, and the shortage of skilled staff on that side?
All right. Yeah. There is always a shortage. The thing is, you got such a big, is it turnaround?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Your turnaround of
all
staff is
businesses have big staff turnarounds.
Okay.
So you've got a lot of staff that
Turnover.
come in and only work for 2 months, and then they leave. That's just the Aussie way. What do you call it? The Aussie.
It's culture. And
Aussie culture. It happens here, and
also a lot of part-time.
Yeah, you also get a lot of part-time work, because it seems like a lot of these. Well, let's just say a lot of the Aussies only want to work for 2 weeks in a month, stuff like that, or 3 days in a week, and
or only a few hours a day.
And there's such a lot of there's such a lot of info we're trying to get into now. So yeah, but
there's lots of variables to this. But there's jobs. There's enough jobs going around. And skilled work, there will always be jobs in that. Where there's not a lot is like admin jobs. Your normal day-to-day in an office, that's not going around a lot. So when somebody gets something like that, they hold on to it. But your normal cashiers, your casual work, all of that, there's a lot of jobs going around. The other place where there's always a shortage is when it gets to hard work. like what Louis is doing at the moment, they struggle to find people who will stay because it's really
I'm a stripper.
taxing on your it's taxing on your body
Yeah.
because it
Yeah.
is.
Yeah.
When you hear what he's doing, really doing, it's quite funny.
My job description is a stripper. I strip the cement poles out of their molds.
Casings, yeah.
So I'm really a stripper. Yeah.
Yes, in this case, you don't get paid tips.
No.
Yeah, no.
He gets paid overtime.
Yeah.
Okay.
I've had a few jobs in Australia. I've had a bit of a struggle as well because I brought my, there's only Afrikaans word for that, my hardigheid with me.
Yeah.
So Aussies don't really like that. But yeah, that's my my problem. But I finally found a job where I work freaking hard, but I get paid very, very well. Yeah. And this job is so hard that it scares the Aussies away. The hardworking Aussies that are there have been working there for 15 to 20 years.
Sure.
Which is the first time in Australia where I see a workforce that has been there for that long time.
Sure.
Yeah.
That's
even for teachers, they do. There's a huge turnaround. There's lots of reasons why there's a teaching shortage.
Yeah.
That's another video on its own. But it's just because there's so many jobs, you could walk out of one and walk into the next one.
Sure.
Yeah.
Louis, you touched on something interesting, and guys, we can touch on the subject or not, but I've in the past worked with a lot of South Africans that have been there for 5, 10, 15 years, especially the guys that have been there for a very long time. They're now business owners, and they've originally moved over, of course, from South Africa. And they went over with a mentality that the world owes them something, or they went over with a mentality that they
were better than anybody else.
Yeah, and that particular holding, as you mentioned earlier on, doesn't really rub well with the Australians.
No, absolutely not.
What is the advice you can give to a South African coming over? What's the mentality to have?
You need to walk in your workspace like you are an 18-year-old and it's your first job. You need to forget everything that's ever been taught to you and told to you and just go with the flow.
Yeah.
But it's very hard. I know it's very hard. There's the culture barrier. There's the language barrier. That's some places that I worked, I was always called the South African.
Or the migrant.
The migrant. I'm also, in every single conversation they will bring in, he's from South Africa, from South Africa. You kind of feel it afterwards. But if you find the right place like Lona is, they don't say it anymore. And where I'm working now, they don't say it anymore. So then you feel part of the team. But you must try to just go with the flow and just learn their ways, but don't adopt their ways. Oh my, hell no.
It's an unpopular opinion, but I've heard it from a lot of people now, is you have to have that mentality of, I'm the migrant.
Yeah.
And I will be a migrant.
Yeah.
And the thing is, everybody here is a migrant. If it's 1 generation, 0 generations, 7 generations.
I suppose that's how Australia was built originally anyway.
Yes. So we're all migrants, but they do tend to show you that you weren't born here.
Yeah.
If we had kids, it would have been completely different.
Sure.
That bringing you back to your first question. For the kids, they will be seen as Australian.
Okay. No, absolutely
Yeah.
not, guys. And you know, the average South African that's looking to immigrate for various reasons. I mean, I know that you're both familiar with what's going on here, and more so in recent times since Trump and Ramaphosa. And we don't want to get too much in a political conversation, but irrelevant of where South African family is going to be going, it's never going to be South Africa. There's no other place like South Africa. You know, if you're moving to Australia, you're moving to Australia. If you're moving to New Zealand, that's New Zealand. You're moving to Canada, the US, or somewhere in Europe, those are different countries. And I think every single person that's looking to immigrate needs to adopt that same mentality. You know, and you know, remove yourself from the South African ideology of what you've known, and as you've said, adopt a new mindset. And
Yes.
Yeah, it's
move
basically
forward.
at work you need to adopt that mindset. I mean, your home
Even
life's your home life. If you've got a kid that comes home and start cursing like a sailor, just give him a clap.
hey, you can't do that yet.
No, you just give him a clap. No, not a smack. That's English. You just give him a clap. Nobody knows what a clap. Yeah.
A bottom clap. Awesome.
Yeah, I think I made a video once of where I spoke about Australia is not the old South Africa. And we get that idea from a lot of people that they want to come here, they want to be safe, they have this idea of what South Africa used to be like.
Yeah.
And it's not. It's a completely different country. It's a completely different culture. Everything is a culture shock. The way your stove works, your home works different than what it is in South Africa. Your aircon in your house works different. It's just those silly things.
Yeah.
But even paying bills are different.
Yes.
So you have to have that mindset of, I'm gonna make this work. It's gonna be tough the first year or how long ever it's gonna take you, but find your core group.
Yeah.
And that's what we did. We struggled to find our core group here, so we grew our own group.
Yeah,
and our own little family here.
Yeah, we started in South Africa already, getting 2 other families.
Yes.
Chatting to them. Yeah, we're all coming to Wodonga.
Yeah, we were recruited by the same.
Yeah, when new families came, we invited them as well, and now we got this massive family. But yeah, it's been that's if it wasn't for our other South Africans, yeah, we would have been.
Yeah, and it's still tough.
Yeah.
It is still tough. And through our group, we met so many other people that also came to Australia, either the same time or just after or going now. And they contact us and they talk to us and say, hey, this is difficult. Or I'm in a place, and we're not close to everybody. We're 300 k's from Melbourne.
Yeah.
So we're not close to a big city to tell somebody, hey, we'll meet up for coffee or something. So we have to do it over WhatsApp and Messenger.
Yeah.
But
I wanted to just chat to you guys about your work-life balance. Now, a lot of South Africans pursue this idea, and people in general, not just South Africans, pursue this work-life balance. Now, I'm not too sure how you guys have adopted that sort of lifestyle or how Australia has presented that to you guys, but being able to work long hours and hard hours and still earn a good living to provide to your family, being able to go on good holidays or whatever the case. Would you say that there is a good work-life balance on that side?
As soon as we get that, we'll let you know.
No, he's joking in some kind, in a way.
But you must realize we came here for a reason, to immigrate permanently. So we have been, once we landed here, we started saving up and getting money together so that we can stay here.
Yes.
So I worked 2 jobs from day 3 that I came here. I worked 2 jobs. I worked from 9 to 5, and I worked from 5 to 8:30 in the evenings delivering pizzas, just so we can get money together for our visa. So that was a tough thing to do. But now at the moment, both of us are home at 5 o'clock. We don't work weekends, so we're very lucky. Most of our friends don't work weekends. So that's quite nice. You always have your weekends. I did work in retail for a bit where I had to work weekends, but that's luckily don't have to anymore. So and being in Wodonga on this area, there's always something to do. So if the South Africans get together, they can go to the pool, they can go to the indoor pool, they can go to the river.
And most of the things are either free or very cheap to do.
Family time is so easy. Our friend Justin, when he's home with the kids, he goes picks up the kids and goes to bounce. Stuff like that. So that, in my eye, is a very good work-life balance, because him being able to spend that much time with his kids. South Africa, some people that we've met here had to drive to work an hour or 2 hours a day. You drive, how many hours do you drive to work
about
every
an hour
day?
and 15 minutes to and from.
Where we live, we're lucky. I drive to work 5 minutes, she drives to work 10 minutes. So that's 2 hours a day that we have extra to do stuff. So that's an area that we're
When you're
just looking at Johan Pretorius and Riet, I mean, the amount of time that they've got now with their daughters is priceless.
It's amazing. And for a teacher too, from a teacher's point of view in Victoria, with the agreement we've got here, it's actually, I think that was the biggest shock for me when I started, was of my 38 hours a week at school, I'm only teaching face-to-face 18.5 hours. That's the maximum that I'm seeing my students. The rest of the time, there's 8 hours set out for meetings and duties. And then I've got 11.5 hours that I've got just for planning and marking, etc. In South Africa, you never have that.
No, I hear
you. You don't have time to plan. You work at night, you work over weekends. And yes, you can still do that here. But the other thing here is we've got a law here in place that with the right to disconnect. So when you knock off at 4 or 5 from work,
no emails, no
you
calls.
Don't get emails. You're not allowed. It's against the law. So you don't get
that's
that
a teacher's dream.
You don't get those emails. You don't get those. And for anybody, even in corporate, you're not allowed to get those because you've got the right to disconnect.
That's wonderful. I've not had a work call at home since I've been in Australia. That's
a pleasure.
That's nice.
I think if my boss has to hear about this, or my partner, should I say now, is not wanting to me to move to Australia. That's for sure.
For the right to disconnect.
Exactly. No, guys. Well, look, I'd like to thank you again for your time. We've only got a little bit of time left on this video, and again, I'd like to thank you for taking the time out of your schedules. And I mean, you didn't exactly need to sit with me and answer immigration questions and your journey, but I'd like to thank you on behalf of New World Immigration. Louis and Iouna, have yourselves an incredible evening, and we look forward to our next video.
Same to you, man.
Same to you.
All right. Thanks, guys. Take care. Cheers.
Bye.
Bye.